In our day and time, you have a whole lot of men that just simply don't take care of business. You ought to tell somebody and say, show it right, show it right, show it right. Men that depend solely upon mama for everything. Married, but got to ask mama about every decision that they make. Woo, it's going to get tight up in here for a moment. You'll be surprised men that stick out their chest, act tough, act big and bad, but are in actuality the type of a man that simply don't know how to handle business. And it's sad because when you look back at Genesis, God himself said that he created man in his own image. See, there's nothing wrong with how God created man, or there's nothing wrong with the plan that God originally had for man. I'm going to say some touchy things this morning, so you might want to buckle your seatbelt. In my opinion, when I studied the Bible, I come to a conclusion that men were created to be leaders. Men were created to lead. Men were created to guide, to know certain things, not just spiritually, but it's good for a man to know natural things. Because how can you lead somebody and you don't know simple things? But it's sad because when you look at our day and time, there are a lot of families and children that are hurting or struggling because of the absence of a man. In two ways. One, there's a body at the house, but it's not functioning like a man. Yeah, there's somebody in the house that wear a size 40 in the waist and eat a whole lot, and shoes are about 11 or 12, but that don't make nobody a man. Yeah, they got hair on their chest as well as their face, but that don't make you no man. Growing a beard does not suggest you a man. You may look like one, but it's so much more to being a man. How many know some families right now that are struggling, hurting because of the absence of a man? A man that won't open up his mouth and guide the family. A man that won't open up his mouth and correct his children or say what needs to be said. And so you have folk that are, again, they're hurting. And then you have families that are hurting and children that are hurting because the man has just simply vanished. Is nowhere to be found. I'm not getting any clap, but I know I'm right this morning. There are some struggles that can be relieved up off of children and single mamas if the daddy that brought them in the world would be just as passionate about seeing about them as he was in getting them. We would be a whole lot better off. I say to you that some folk that's on welfare wouldn't have to be there. Some folk that's doing without would have if some men would just do right. And don't you assume this morning that every man I'm talking about is a sinner, because you have jacked up men sitting up in the house. And I intend to deal with every last one of them. There is a shortage. Somebody say, he said a shortage of godly men. If you believe it, give that a clap right there. If you believe there is just simply a shortage of godly men. What is a godly man? When I say a shortage of godly men, I'm not talking about men that come to church. I'm saying to you, when you look out into the church and beyond the church, There is a shortage of men who have wisdom. Hold on, godly wisdom. See, when I speak to you about there being a shortage of godly men, I'm saying to you that in the day and time we live in, you don't see a whole lot of men that's operating in godly wisdom. But tell your neighbor, on the other hand, there's an overflow of foolish men. Tell somebody, yeah, they easy to find. Look at somebody and just tell them, say, yeah, they real easy to find. Oh, look back at somebody right in their eyes and just tell them, say, it ain't hard to run up on an old foolish man. Ooh, that sounded good right there. Y'all women ought to be rejoiced. You ought to look back at a woman and say, girl, don't you know it's a whole lot of foolish men out here and up in this church. If you believe it, high five and say, show you right, girl. Woo! Sister, this y'all chance to let some of these men know you fronting to be wise, but I know you foolish. And they're married women. They too scared to get up. They too scared to clap. They may have to deal with consequences when they get in the car, when they get back home. What were you saying today? Why you trying to make me look bad? Brother, it ain't her making you look bad. You doing a good job making yourself look bad every day. Because you a foolish man. A foolish man will have a good wife, but is chasing somebody else's wife. You a foolish man. And your end need to be exposed. Sit down. Overflow. In a place where knowledge and understanding is given weekly, you still have men that's foolish. But this is what get me foolish, but want to lead somebody. Foolish, but want to marry somebody. You want to do what? I want to marry her. Are you a? All these women out here want me pastor. Are you a? There is an overflow of foolish men. Men that come to church, act interested, act holy, preach pastor, deal with it, fix it, say it, talk about it, but they ain't doing nothing I preach. And the wife is too scared to expose. It will hurt his pride. Turn to Proverbs 1 and 7. As you turn to Proverbs 1 and 7, just shout, Lord, deal with it. What y'all want the Lord to deal with? These foolish men. There are some men that work that the best thing they can do for their family is to give their check to their wife. That's the best thing that can happen for that family. Is for that man to stop cashing that check. Y'all laughing. I am dead serious. So stuff can get paid. The best thing that can happen for that family is for that man to decide that he don't need to carry no checkbook or no credit card. Men that have money but seemingly can't account for nothing that they get. Men that when you ask them about money, they get to stumbling with their words. Wait. Now, something, you know that, been talking 3 minutes and ain't said nothing. I'm coming straight this morning. Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. When you start reverencing God, you about to walk into knowledge, an overflow of information, an overflow of knowledge. But here's the problem. But fools despise wisdom and what? Notice, a fool despises wisdom and instruction. When you try to give a person wisdom and instruction and they get mad at you, you know you ain't dealing with nothing but a. You just told this person something that it took you years to learn. But if they apply, they'll reap a benefit immediately. And they got upset with you. And walked up out of your house and slammed the door that didn't even belong to them. You know you're dealing with a fool. You have to learn to embrace wisdom. And you have to learn to hang with folk that operate in wisdom. Some of you know you foolish because everybody you hang with. Look at here, they despise wisdom. A fool gonna leave here today saying, that man was talking about me. He was trying to make me mad. Pastor just don't like me. Pastor don't even know you like that. He trying to give you wisdom that'll help you out. I'm going to do it my way. I know Pastor said you should keep a book that manages your finances, that shows what's coming in and out of your house. I know he teach all of that, accountability, stewardship. Yeah, but to me it don't really matter. It's hard to deal with a person that think they know everything. Can I take it further? It's hard to deal with people that in their eyes they never wrong. Brother, look at another brother and just tell him, say, man, sometimes you might just be wrong. Y'all are looking at me like that, but I'm going to tell you, one of the problems of men is that men don't like to be corrected. You have to learn, even as a man, that when your wife right, she just right. When the supervisor right, he just right. Shut your mouth, get back to stacking them boxes. He was right. They supposed to went on shelf A and not shelf B. I don't care what they told you on second shift. You should have checked your report. The supervisor, don't you walk off that job. You better get your hard-headed self back up in there. Talking, I don't need that job. Yeah, you need it now. You'd be surprised men up in here that didn't like correction and they left certain jobs. I know I'm finna make somebody mad now. And there are certain men that left certain women because they challenged them too much. And when they found them a doormat, when they found them somebody they can walk over, call her sensitive, but she more like dumb to me because she don't ever say that. And everything you say is right. You God in her eye. You found yourself a floor mat. But I'm going to tell every man up in here, there's just simply time that you need a good woman to challenge some of your crazy decisions. That you keep talking about God dropped in your spirit. Some of that in your spirit need to be challenged by a good woman that ain't afraid to tell you, wait a minute, you messed up the last time, remember? Remember why we got this car when I told you we need a warranty, but you said, no, baby, it's all right. God showed me this was it. Some women need to tell me, you don't get to make no more decisions. Sit down. It's the truth. I'm going to be honest. There have been times that I wanted to run through this woman. Not just here. I wanted to run through her. But I had to check myself and say, listen here, Abraham, Sarah, right this time. You're wrong. If you do what she's saying, it'll get better. Listen to me. There are men in here right now, they don't like this type teaching because they think it make them look bad. And don't let no woman tell no man, say, yeah, you need to do like Pastor. You got that man on a pedestal. You think too much about that man. But baby, wasn't he right today? I'm sick of hearing his name up in there. You think that man don't make no mistake? Huh? You think you'd be better off with him? Is that why you go in that church? You think you won't get with him? There are a lot of men, they ain't coming no church when no man teaching real good because they're afraid that they're going to get exposed. This is what's sad when you look at foolish men. There are good women that are sitting back waiting on a fool to change. Why don't you go on with what God has for you? Well, I think he's going to change. Waiting on a fool to change. Tell your neighbor, it ain't nothing worse than sitting back waiting on a fool to change. Ain't no men in the church. Sister, you need to stop lying. Like Praise Refuge Noon, the only church in the world. You just in love with her. Godly women that are in love with men that don't want nothing to do with God. Psalm 14:1 said, the fool done said in his heart, there is no God. Young folk that are angry, mad, depressed, upset, waiting on a fool to change. Why don't daddy just call sometime? Baby, if he call or don't call, you got to go on. You got to see it as his loss. You can't keep messing up your life because of what that foolish man won't do. God, I'm preaching right. Their young folk need to get delivered over what daddy didn't do. How daddy didn't show up. Come on, because you waiting on a fool to change.